Hi there friends! I'm here today with a very special video for you. It's my first ever Q&A, question and answer video. And I decided to make this one theater themed because I've been getting some requests to have a theater related video. Particularly because I blog about theater, I talk about theater a lot in my videos, but I've never made one, at least in recent times, that's specifically about theater. So I took some questions on Twitter and from a handful of my friends, and let's get to it. Okay, so my friend Ashley, who is at Musicals and Tea on Twitter, asked me if you could zap to New York and see any 3 shows, what would you pick? And the same for London. Well, if I could go to New York and see any 3 shows right now, it would definitely be Hamilton, Allegiance, and probably Les Mis. I'd really like to see Les Mis right now because Alfie Boe is playing Valjean, and he was my first ever Valjean that I saw, the very first time that I saw Les Mis whenever I was 16, so that would be very special. Obviously, I would love to see Allegiance because I would love to see Lea Salonga and the rest of the incredible cast, but also as a history student, the story of the Japanese internment camps is something that I'm very interested in, and I would love to see that, and I think it goes without saying why I want to see Hamilton. If I could go to the West End and see any 3 shows, it would without a doubt be Miss Saigon, Les Mis, and Kinky Boots. Obviously, I want to see Kinky Boots because I would love to see Killian Donnelly as Charlie Price. My best friend, who's studying abroad in Ireland right now, was lucky enough to see him, and he said that he and the rest of the cast were absolutely fantastic. I would love to see Les Mis again, I want to see Carrie Hope Fletcher as Eponine more times. That's terrible, I've seen her so many times, but also I'd really love to see Zoe Duano as Cosette and Rachel Ango as Fantine because I adored her in Miss Saigon. I always want to see Miss Saigon. I think that it's kind of like the Hamilton thing, it just goes without saying. But also I'm so sad that the West End production is closing in February. I did get to see it twice, and even with 2 different Kims and 2 different Chris's, but I just want to see it 1,000 times. So thanks for that, Ashley. So my best friend Lucy Diet Cokeman, Lucy Diet Cokeman on Twitter sent me, if Cosette were a cake, what type of cake would she be? In parentheses, I need to go to bed. You definitely did, Lucy. I think if Cosette were a cake, I want to say she'd be a Victoria sponge cake because that's something that's very fun and almost fairy-like or something. It seems very whimsical to me, but at the same time it's very sweet without being overly sweet. I feel like it's a cake that has some character to it, and it also is my favorite. Sandra, I am really afraid to pronounce your Twitter username. I'm just gonna put it down below. Asks, what was the very first musical you ever saw? As far as the first musical I ever saw live, I think it was The Lion King. I know that was the first one I ever saw professionally. I may have seen Beauty and the Beast on national tour before that, but it was definitely a Disney musical. I saw The Lion King in London whenever I was 7 with all of my dad's family, my cousins, my aunts and uncles, my grandparents. It was an incredible experience. But I also just grew up watching movie musicals, particularly Annie, State Fair, and Oklahoma. And now that I've seen Oklahoma again recently, my university did it, and I have a review of it on my blog, as well as the preview video that my school newspaper did of it. If you'd like to check that out, link to my blog below. But watching the show again, I realized how messed up it is, and the fact that I watched it a ton whenever I was quite small kind of worries me. Okay, Harry West, whose username is Dante Westy. He has a really cute dog as his profile picture. He asks, where do you think theater will stand in future, heading towards digital and online media? Live stream performances, maybe? Yeah, I really think that live stream performances and recorded performances are going to be a big thing. Obviously, National Theatre Live is already doing a lot of that now, particularly with things at the Donmar Warehouse and stuff like that. I was lucky enough to see War Horse whenever it was videoed and then broadcasted out to theaters across the UK and the US. I also got to see Coriolanus with Tom Hiddleston and Hadley Fraser, which was incredible. I'm so glad that they filmed that and then showed it to, theater audiences. I actually was at the Phantom of the Opera live stream from the 25th anniversary concert, and then really what got me into theater was the concert version of Les Mis for its 25th anniversary. So I do think that live streaming is going to be a big thing, particularly with anniversary celebrations and big things like that. I also can see that professionally filmed theater can go towards something like a Netflix. I know there's something that's being put together right now that's kind of being tested out and seeing where it goes, where it's basically a subscription and you get to see professionally filmed musicals. I think that really is the future of this, because I think you have to kind of recognize that not everyone can get to New York and not everyone can get to London or wherever the theater is going on. It's expensive and it's difficult, and the theater community is a lot bigger than just the people who live in those cities. All right, Ashley has sent me a bunch of questions. She said to just pick from them, so I'm going to go through some of them. She asked who my favorite Chris in Miss Saigon is, and she knows what a difficult question this is for me, because I really cannot pick my favorite Chris. I was able to see both Alistair Brammer, whom I love, and Niall Sheehy as Chris on 2 separate occasions. Obviously on 2 separate occasions. I really love seeing about both of their performances. I think that Alistair really showed off well the kind of PTSD side of Chris, if that makes sense, kind of how the war has affected him as a person. But I also just love Niall's Chris so much because he's what I call Bingley Chris, in that he seems like Mr. Bingley from Pride and Prejudice. In the beginning of it, he's just so happy. You just want good things to happen to him, and you understand why so many people in the show love him so much. John, Ellen, Kim, and why they're willing to do kind of crazy things to protect him. What would your dream job in the theater be? If I could just be Lin-Manuel Miranda's personal assistant, that'd be cool. No, honestly, my dream job in a theater would be to work either for a publication like Broadway.com or BroadwayWorld.com doing their social media, or to work for a PR agency like Spotco or AKA Media that does PR for Broadway shows. So I'll be looking for internships. If anyone has connections, hit me up. Who would you like to be in the Miss Saigon Broadway transfer? We've talked about this a lot, actually. I really, really, really want John Briones to transfer with the show and play the engineer on Broadway. Nothing could make me happier than that. I would really love to see Jeremy Jordan play the role of Chris. I know it's a little bit unlikely because he's busy with Supergirl, and I get that, and I love that. Obviously, I'm writing recaps of the show for BroadwayWorld.com's TV section. But I would love to see him as Chris, and I would really love to see Laura Osnes as Ellen, to be honest. I think she would bring something very interesting to the role and something very likable to the role. Other than that, I just really want Eva Noblezada to come with it to Broadway. Come back home, Eva. She also asks, and I'm skipping over a bunch, what was the first show you properly fell in love with? It was definitely Les Mis. Like I said, I loved Oklahoma and Annie whenever I was a kid, but really the first show I really was into was Les Miserables. That was very bad. Les Miserables. One day actually, no, that's wrong. My high school did Les Mis, the student version, whenever I was in 9th grade, I want to say. 10th grade. And I really liked the show, and then not that long afterwards, the 25th anniversary concert was airing on PBS, and we were just flipping channels one night, and we saw it, and I was like, what is Nick Jonas doing in a musical? So I watched some of it, and I fell in love. Fell in love with the story, with the actors in it. Ramin Karimloo is a big reason that I'm into theater now, because I mentioned it to a friend of mine and she was like, oh, I have this album that he's on called Love Never Dies, and she gave it to me to listen to, and that's kind of how I got plunged into the theater world. Not that long after, my family and I went to London and we saw Les Mis there, and we saw Alfie and Hadley and Matt Lucas in the show, and it was just incredible, and I've never looked back. One more question, and then there's a question that several people have asked. So Kenny, thanks Kenny, Twitter name @Kenny'sGuilty, asked fave stage door moment. I've had a lot of very incredible stage door moments. Newsy's stage door was incredible. Meeting Alistair Brammer for the first time, which was my first ever stage door, was crazy. It just still seems unreal. Obviously, I've had a lot of great moments at the Queen's Theatre, Les Mis West End stage door, particularly talking to Carrie Hope Fletcher. But I have to say my favorite ever stage door experience was meeting Killian Donnelly. I'm a huge fan of Killian. I've been a huge fan of his since I was 16, which is, 5 years? 5 years! So the last 5 years I've been a big fan of Killian Donnelly. But he's really inspiring to me as a person. He's helped me through a lot of things, if that makes sense. So I was a bit nervous about meeting him. We saw him in the commitments, my friend Stephanie and I, while we were studying abroad in the UK the summer after my first year of university. And I was so nervous. We were standing at the stage door. There was only one other person there, and she like knew someone in the cast. And we were kind of watching the other people come out of the theater and doing that awkward thing where you don't know any of them well enough to ask them to sign anything or to talk to them, but you just kind of give them the nice little wave and smile. And you can see the Miss Saigon Theater on the Prince Edward from the commitment stage door. So Steph was turned around looking at it, kind of trying to like see what was going on down there. Because we were going to Miss Saigon the day after, 2 days after. And I was watching stage door because I wasn't willing to miss Killian. And he walks out. And I meant to get his attention and to get Steph's attention to tell him that she was there. And I tried to just say Killian, but it didn't come out like that. I said, Killian! My voice like shot up several octaves. And he was really nice about it though. He whipped around and turned to me, and Steph also whipped around, and they're just both staring at me, and I was like, hi. But no, he was super lovely. He signed one of the pamphlets for the commitments for us, and he took a photo with us, and we just chatted for like 15 minutes. He asked us where we were from. He asked us what we were doing in the UK. He asked us like what classes we were taking. I ended up, this is embarrassing, I forget where I'd read that he was an extra in the tutors, but somehow the fact that I was taking a class on Tutor England came up, and I was like, oh, were you on the tutors? And then I was like, that's a weird thing to share. Like, is he gonna be weirded out that I know that? But he thought it was hilarious. He just like started, he was like, yeah, I did dancing, I did like this, and just like started showing us dance moves. Like Tutor England dance moves, so. And it was just the best experience. He was super, super lovely. I keep saying super partially because he asked, you know, how we liked London, and I said, oh, we're super excited to be here. And he said, oh my god, you say super too, and we were kind of like, what? And he was like, yeah, a lot of my American friends say super like that. Like, I guess that's an American thing, but now I think of him every time I say it. It was really lovely. It was also our first night in London, and I'd never been in a big city without my parents before. And talking to him like that just made me feel a lot better about being there. Really put me at ease. He's a lovely person in that. I was very nervous, and as soon as I started talking to him, I was completely calm and comfortable. So that was definitely my favorite stage door experience ever. The last question, which I have had 4 different people ask me for, is can I rap Guns and Ships from Hamilton? If you don't know, Guns and Ships is a song in Hamilton that's kind of set before the Battle of Yorktown, and Lafayette has this rap in it that Daveed Diggs does. Incredibly, I can never even pretend to be Daveed Diggs, so I'm sorry that I'm not him. Go listen to him sing it, it's much better. But someone did some kind of study on it and like words per minute, and apparently it's the fastest song ever in musical theater. In fast even compared to most rap songs. So last week, I think it was, I sat down and decided to teach it to myself because I had like 15 extra minutes before I need to go to class. So I taught it to myself. So here we go. I'm taking this horse by the reins, making red coats, sweater with blood stains. I'm never gonna stop until I make a drop, murder, scatter their veins. I'm watching me engaging them, escaping them, enraging them. I'll go to France for more funds. I come back with more guns. In Washington, and him sing a bit, and so he knows what to do when the trenches into with flute and French, I mean. So you're gonna have to use him eventually. What's he gonna do on the bench, I mean? No one has more resilience so much as more practical, tactical brilliance. You wanna fight for your land back? Yeah, get your right-hand man back. Yeah, you gotta get your right-hand man back. I mean, you gotta put some thought through the letter, but the sooner the better, you get your right-hand man back. So there you have it. I have wrapped Guns and Ships for all of you who wanted it. Well, all 4 of you, but I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much to everyone who sent in questions for this video. I really enjoyed filming it. Let me know if you'd like to see another Q&A. I could do a general Q&A of whatever, or even like if anyone would be interested in a university-themed Q&A where you could ask me questions about what it's like to be in university. I have attended university both in the United States and in Scotland for 5 months. So I can answer questions a little bit about both. Can also always phone a friend because I have friends who go to university in the UK. But yeah, let me know if these Q&A videos are something that you like and something that you would like to see again. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up down below and subscribe to my channel if you've not already for more general nonsense and just as a vote of confidence for the fact that I sang Guns and Ships and I'm putting it onto the internet. But in any case, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next week with a special Disney World themed video. Bye. I mean, you gotta put something under the letter, but the sooner the better. You put your right hand man back. That's exhausting. Hair, what are you doing? God, that's embarrassing. Are we still filming? Okay, we're filming. I hope no one from the cast of Hamilton ever sees this video.